If you're like me and you bet on sports on a pretty much daily basis, you've probably heard of or seen Cody Brown Bets on Twitter. He's got over 450,000 followers and he provides free picks on a daily basis, in addition to some data sheets and other kind of helpful betting insights. Last NFL season, I've followed some of his picks and started betting on some of the free picks that he gave out. Some of which have won, some of which have lost, but basically it got me asking the question like, is Cody Brown Bets actually profitable? So I ended up tracking 263 of his bets throughout the NFL and NBA season, 2023 to 2024 seasons, respectively. And I've got some data to show whether or not he's profitable. So we're going to get into that first, and then I'll go over some other stuff in terms of who he is, what he provides his followers, and basically whether or not I think he's worth a follow. But starting out with the meat and potatoes, let's get into whether or not Cody Brown Bets is actually profitable. So I got a nice little G sheet with all these tracked bets from September of 2023 all the way through April of 2024. I just want to disclaim, I might not have tracked every single bet. Certainly, probably missed a couple here and there. So this isn't like 100% accurate. This is written in stone. This is his record. There might be a couple bets I missed. So as I get into each sport too, I'm also going to provide some context as to the different types of bets that he's giving out as free picks, because it does make a difference. So for the NFL free picks, I broke down his bets into three different types of categories: best bets, parlays, and flyers. He also had a couple ladder challenges. I didn't include that in this data because it's kind of a unique bet type. So the best bets that he gave out were usually player props, almost always one leg. So basically it'd be like Jahmyr Gibbs over 3.5 receptions, or Justin Jefferson over 6.5 catches, something like that, where it's just one player, one prop. For the NFL best bets, he went 13 and 14. So, not bad. You would have lost a unit or so. And the average odds on those best bets at the time that he posted them were minus 124. So, you bet $10 to win 8 or right around there. The next bet type that I tracked were parlays. So I grouped parlays and same game parlays together. For parlays, some of his bets were 2 legs, some of them were 8, and everything in between, but usually between 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5. The average odds on these parlays and same game parlays were plus 233. So basically you bet $1, you'd win $2.33. On his parlays for the NFL last season, he went 16 and 67. So not very good, but again, when you're betting something with plus money, you know that you're less likely to win it. But overall, 16 and 67 is pretty bad. Like, this was one for me where I followed a couple of his picks and I was like, man, these things, they seem to be losing. And then the last bet type that I have here are what Cody Brown Bets labels as flyer bets. So these are typically plus 1,000 odds or somewhere around there, which basically means he's telling you like, hey, it's like a lottery bet, or it's a long shot. So obviously when you have something where the odds are a lot longer like that, you should be betting less money. So the average odds on his flyer bets were 1,256. So basically 12.5 to 1. You bet $1, you win $12.56. On his flyer bets, he went 4 and 21. And that actually sounds bad, but it's actually not bad, because he ended up winning a couple bets that were like plus 1,000 odds. And the one he won on tight ends day last year, I think he had George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and Dallas Goedert or something like that. And that hit at 16 to 1 odds. So he did win a couple of the flyer bets, which is really cool. But all in all, still more losses than wins. But still, those are kind of fun. So his total NFL record for last year of the bets that I tracked was 33 and 102. So about a 32% win rate. So, yeah, not profitable for the NFL. Next, we got the NBA bets. So for the NBA bets, I just grouped these into 2 different categories: best bets and parlays. The best bets, again, were usually one player's prop line. So Jalen Duren to record a double-double, or Jalen Duren over 22.5 points, rebounds, assists. More often than not, or at least a vast majority of the best bets that I tracked were for points, rebounds, assists. So for the NBA best bets, Cody Brown bets actually went 45-28 for the bets that I tracked, and I got most of the regular season here, but I think I did stop tracking around the end of April, so definitely missed a couple, and then the playoffs as well. But that's actually pretty good to be up over 10 units if you followed his best bets for the NBA season. And the average odds on those best bets were minus 119 at the time of posting. So when he posted it, it was typically around minus 119. But full disclaimer, a lot of the times when Cody Brown bets post a best bet, he'll post it early in the morning, and then as the day goes on, the odds tend to get worse. So at the end of the day, if you're betting his best bet in the evening, you might get minus 130, minus 140 odds. So you have to bet more money to win the same amount of money. I mean, it is a good indicator that, he found a discrepancy in the data and that he actually recommended a good pick if the odds, tend to fluctuate like that throughout the day. But if you don't get in the best bet when he posts it, then your profit margins are, if he's consistently winning, then your profit margins are going down. So his NBA best bets are actually really good last season, and if you were to follow one bet type on one sport of the data that I tracked, I would recommend following his NBA best bets. Again, he went 45-28 on the ones I tracked. And then the next group here is the parlays and same game parlays. So again, usually between 2 and 5 legs, sometimes more. The average odds on his parlay bets for the NBA season was plus 255, so bet $1 to win $2.55. He went 14-41 on those. So again, not very good. People recommending parlays on a daily basis, same game parlays with 2, 3, 4 legs. It's harder to win when you're adding in, when you need 4 or 5 things to win. It's just hard to consistently win those. So his total NBA record was 59-69, so down 10 units or so overall. One thing I do want to talk about, I think it's worth mentioning, if you are following Cody Brown bets, or anyone else's, any other social media profile on Twitter that gives out free bets, it's important to manage your unit size based on the odds. So if someone's giving out a bet recommendation at even money, bet $1 to win $1, then you might want to use like a full unit size, whatever that is for you. Whereas if they're giving out picks and parlays at 5-1 odds, then maybe you use a quarter of a unit, or a fifth or a sixth or a seventh of a unit. So if your typical unit size is $10, if he's giving out a free pick that's 5-1 odds, then maybe you only bet $2 or $1 on that bet size, or $1 on that bet. So I do think that's worth mentioning. Overall, Cody Brown bets record of the bets that I tracked 263 total bets, and throughout those bets he went 92-171. So to answer the question, is Cody Brown bets profitable? No, he's not going to make you money if you follow all of his picks consistently. I will say, if you only follow his best bet picks, you might make a little bit of money. And if you bet on them at the time that he posts them, it's possible you could make a little bit of money. And he definitely went on some runs throughout the season where he hit 7, 8, 9 in a row. Also went on some runs where he might have lost 4, 5, 6 in a row. But my overall takeaway is, if you're following someone like Cody Brown bets, you shouldn't expect them to make you money in the long run. I look at it as kind of like I'm going to be watching this game. Maybe I don't have a bet cooked up on my own, so I'm going to follow his free pick and just root along with it, because it is a social thing, right? If thousands of people are betting on it on Twitter, it can be fun. But I wouldn't just blindly follow Cody Brown bets picks, or anyone else's on Twitter for that matter. All right, so that answers the profitability question. I do want to cover a couple more things as well. I do think it's worth mentioning that Cody Brown Bets provides his followers with these really cool data sheets, and there's other people that do this on Twitter too, but yeah, for all like prominent matchups in the NFL, or just regular season NBA games, Cody Brown Bets has these cool like data duel sheets is what he calls them, or for the MLB he's got hit rate sheets. But basically what he does is he collects data and puts it in a very easy to digest format so that you can use that and build your own bets. So for example, his data sheets might be previewing an NBA game, and it'll show the starters for each team, one team on one side, one on the other, and then what their line is for points or rebounds or assists or three-pointers, what their average is for the season, and then what their average is for like the last 5 games or last 10 games or whatever it is. So that way you can say, okay, well, Kyrie Irving averages 3.5 threes on the season. His line right now is 2.5, and in the last 5 games he's made 3. So this might be a good leg to add to my parlay that I'm building, or this might be a good bet to bet on. And I do think those data sheets are really helpful, because if you're trying to build a parlay and you're looking for different player props, it's hard to collect that data from ESPN or the Score for a bunch of different players. It's so much easier just to have the data like in an easy digest format in front of you and just kind of go from there. So even if you're not looking to follow free picks, I think Cody Brown Bets is definitely worth a follow from his data duel and hit sheets and any of the data that he provides. I think it's definitely worth taking a look at. And that's if you're building, parlays and same game parlays on a frequent basis. If you're just betting, money line, spread, total, over, under, maybe not as much. So a couple other quick things I do want to mention. So Cody Brown Bets, there's a lot of people like him on Twitter that give out free picks or data or whatever it is. They more often than not use pseudonyms. So Cody Brown is definitely not his real name. When you get people that are giving out like gambling picks and recommendations, they more often than not use a pseudonym, just because if you lose money, they don't want you messaging them on Twitter, sending threats or just nasty stuff just because they followed your pick and you lost money. So pretty much everyone that gives out free picks on Twitter uses a pseudonym, but just something I wanted to mention. And then the other thing is that he does make money off of getting people to sign up for sports betting accounts. So more often than not, when he posts a free bet, he'll say, follow my bet risk-free on Caesars or DraftKings, Fanatics, FanDuel, whatever, and then have a link to sign up for that sports book. So my point is that he is incentivized to continue to put out free bets and with those sign-up links, because each time someone signs up, he probably gets anywhere from $50 to $150, depending on the sports book and if he gets a custom referral rate. So it is worth mentioning that is how he makes his money, and he is incentivized to get people to sign up for sports betting accounts. So the more free picks he gives out, the better. And obviously he still wants to win all the picks that he gives out, because it helps his business and his bottom line. But at the end of the day, for him to make money, it's all about the signups, and I think that's worth mentioning. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It did take a lot of work to track all those bets and go back over the last several months on Twitter and find the odds and win losses and all that. But if you like the video and you want me to track someone else's bets on Twitter, like whether it's maybe Dan's AI sports picks or Harry Locks or any of those other guys that are similar. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.